Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of my Modstream. I don't know why I was going to open things up with another episode. I guess I'm just used to a little show called Elo Heaven, which just dropped its 13th episode a couple days ago or 2 days ago or whatever. It's already popping. It's already got 1,500 views, so I'll take you that. Thank you very much. And yeah, check it out if you haven't already. It's pretty good. 3 hours long, casual 3. You can check that out and enjoy that over on the other channel. Things are really starting to move in that direction. So I am quite pleased to announce that I am indeed a man. Hey, man. Speaking of being a man, I also, a little bit more closer to home here, managed to snag some pretty good amount of time to focus on writing up some plans for the campaign. I haven't filled in the timeline just yet. However, the individual sets, those are looking pretty reasonable, pretty full, especially the Protoss one, which by all accounts is pretty much taken care of in that respect. I haven't actually decided if I want to stick to a consistent mission count across all different maps or all different map sets. So, for example, right now the Protoss map set has 8 missions planned, and then there's spots for 8 missions planned for the other races, but I haven't finished planning those. And all of that could change as time goes on. I'm kind of interested in actually how that evolves overall in that sense. So we will have to see where that goes. I'm mostly interested in being able to have a decent amount of time to explore some of the concepts and some of the characters and some of the factions, while also allowing for a very satisfactory amount of gameplay. Because one thing that has been a bit at odds is the more I've learned about how stories are told generally, especially in movies and more established formats, the more I've realized that there's a lot at stake for an RTS that wants to have put gameplay first, but still also wants to write and deliver a good story, a satisfactory story, because some things require that human connection in order to be satisfactory, but that's completely at odds with the large scale of an RTS, of a military, simulator to some extent. So that's something that I'm definitely at odds with a little bit, is how much do I have quote unquote in-game cutscenes or briefings or any of that. Obviously how much effort or weight do I put into the development of such things, and when I'm planning the story, how much is going to be down to the agency of a character over the happenstance of the plot, where it's nothing that can be attributed to any one character per se. So I was speaking with Veek about this somewhat recently, I think last week, and one of the things that I had broken down terminology-wise was that there's story-driven plots, and then there's character-driven plots, and this is kind of how I've broken it down in my head. So you have a plot that's character-driven. Usually that means the characters themselves are making massive decisions that change how the story, or the plot itself rather, pans out. Whereas if something is event-driven, story-driven, maybe event-driven would be better because of the misnomers of using story and plot interchangeably sometimes. That's mostly just me being stupid, though. The event-driven plot is essentially something is set in motion. Yeah, at the end of the day, you could trace it back to a character or something, but it's not really important. And the example that I gave was the Alien films, where the first Alien film is a classic event-driven plot where the alien is discovered and then brought aboard, and then hell breaks loose. And you could talk about how there's certainly character-based decisions that go into that. But, for example, the origin of the alien is not necessary to understand. And when they go back later on in the franchise, more recently now, and try to explain how the aliens were created, how the xenomorphs were created, it's not nearly as interesting. It's not nearly as compelling as a couple of characters stuck on side a spaceship with ravening creature. So that's where I think it can be easy to drop the ball and to sort of select something that's not really fit. And that's not to say that event-driven plots can't work very well for movies, but I think, or rather that event-driven plots are the only thing that work well for movies. I think character-driven plots can work well too. It's just that the burden of execution is going to be on something completely different there. It's going to be on how believable the characters are and so on. Whereas if you have like dumb writing behind something that's event driven, it matters a little bit less because by design, the events are not really designed to be considered in the same degree. Like, you don't need to know the cause and effect in this equation. You really only need to know the effect and what that might happen, what that might mean for other things, and how to respond to that. And that's where some interesting developments can happen story wise. But I feel like when it comes to handling shit like, oh yeah, we've got this event, we've got this, this, that, or the other thing. Oh, I just realized I'm streaming to an unlisted stream. Of course, I'll have to fix that real quick. Yeah, when you're dealing with something that's like, oh yeah, you don't know cause and effect necessarily. Why is this not working? Why does YouTube never work? Yeah, I don't need to know why YouTube never works, actually. That's the wrong question. That would be cause and effect. Really, I only need to know the effect. So somebody who's rewatching this back will get this whole spiel. Now it's public. Should work. Classic. Classic issue. Okay. Anyway, where was I with that spiel about story? Talking about teaching, talking about cause and effect. So I think, yeah, event-driven stories don't need, or event-driven plots, they don't require the same degree of cause and effect development and intelligent writing, essentially. They're not as high concept, or maybe that's the wrong usage of that terminology. I think high concept is when something is like a bizarre premise, like Terminator or Alien. So maybe that's the wrong term. I'll have to look into that shit later. I don't really know my film terms as much. All I'm saying is, I think in general you want to start your story off, your plot off, for like say the first mission or the first campaign or something. You would want that to be more event focused, where characters are reacting to events that they had no or little control of, and then you can start to evolve that over time. You can start to give them the opportunity to see how these characters develop, see where they go, see how they end up doing. And then as time goes on, maybe your story progresses. Now your characters are known to the players better, and you can have a bit more character-driven things happening there, like the characters decide to make this decision, and then it doesn't feel like it's out of left field or whatever. So, anyway, this all brings us to the Hydra campaign planning stuff. I still haven't come up with a proper name. I got a couple of candidates I'm still kicking around in my brain for naming the overall project, because Project Hydra is a dead title at this point, and then naming the actual like campaign set, if you will. I was thinking of one name, Solar Stalgia, but that's probably going to be the name for the 6th set, anyway. And keep your eye out on this Golden Souls shit, because we are going to be working on that map today as well. My Ashworld map. So, I think the best way to explain the whole story-driven versus plot-driven stuff is definitely to look at the, or story-driven versus event-driven versus character-driven, whatever, something. I just want to give you guys some ideas here, some examples. The initial setup for the first Protoss mission is that Protoss are doing something, right? And then they get attacked by Zerg. You really couldn't have like a more simple premise. The characters don't have any control over when the Zerg show up, how often they do, etc. Zerg themselves don't really have characters in the same way that the other races do, so it's not even like you could like look to them and say, oh yeah, this character did this because of XYZ. Although I still haven't 100% settled on what I want to do there. That being said, where are we? A little bit later on, it's like there's a decision that the one character makes to essentially eject a moon, a lunar satellite, into the surface of the planet that it's orbiting, for the purpose of like just wiping the planet off, out of, completely destroying the planet, basically like rendering it obsolete and no longer fit for life. The reason being that it's fully infested by Zerg, and they need to put a stop to it. And so they do some number crunching, and they make some sacrifices and blah 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 blah. But that's a decision made. That's not something that they're just responding to the circumstances by like some of this stuff is obviously there's some decisions made here to discuss things with another faction of Protoss and like try to band together, right? Which wouldn't even necessarily be frowned upon considering the situation, right? It makes perfect sense even in the Protoss side of things. However, this is less of like, oh yeah, we've got like I'm making a decision, and more like my back's kind of against the wall. I just have to do something. Whereas this at this point with the like throwing the moon at the planet, that's a little bit more like, oh, you actually decided to do this, like you opted into doing this, and that's obviously going to be pretty important later on because it basically leads this this protagonist Protoss into the situation that he ends up being in at the end. I haven't actually documented what the tetragram are, but they're basically a faction of all races that are essentially controlled by a rogue demiurge. So time will tell for that one. All right, before I go any further, I do want to pour myself a drink, and then we will get started on the actual map. But I did want to go over some of the plot detailing, let people know it actually exists, that sort of thing. And I just think that whole conversation about discussing plots that are more influenced by events or characters, I think that's an interesting way to break it down. I'll probably do a dadcon on that later today, just because I think it's an interesting topic. I guess I should, I just realized something. I should probably order a stream deck now that I have money. Bonk. Okay. I'll look into that a little bit later on. I put the feelers out and asked some of my streaming friends for some assistance there. Okay, so we've looked through this. I will come back to this periodically throughout. For now, we've got some map work to do. We do also have some bug fixing to do, but I'm a bit more reliant on my man Viker for that. And we did also start to think about a new tile set, believe it or not. Pretty exciting shit. Oh, I just realized it didn't even... YouTube doesn't like saving any of my metadata between streams. I don't know why. Just fix that real quick. Okay. Perfect. Alrighty then. So where were we last? I mucked about with this lava stuff to make it slightly more pretty and to also make it so that this area was left a little bit more untouched so that I can crevice it later. I'm looking forward to DF's top structure tile as a like a Photoshop file later on. He showed off some of that terrain. I think in the last stream, maybe it was a while ago, because I haven't really been very around, unfortunately. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting angle. I thought there was some really neat possibilities there. And obviously, you can throw in some crevices on like the terrain that's underneath it or whatever. So, what's up, Beaver? How you doing, dude? I did an entire spiel about story planning and stuff. So I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling warmed up, ready to take on the day. Or the afternoon as it is now. Okay. I think I did some of this stuff off stream where I added like these ramps and stuff. I can't really remember. I can't fully remember. I think maybe this. No, maybe I did do this on stream. I can never remember because I do like if I'm ever doing like a podcast recording or something where I'm not on camera, which doesn't happen too often anymore. But when I'm doing stuff like that, I'm often, since I don't have to be staring at the webcam the whole time, I do this kind of shit where I just do some visual detailing or some terraining or whatever on whatever map I happen to be working on. So yeah, I think we've got a pretty nice battleground for the most part. I am a little concerned that this is a little too boring. This pathway between the Terrans and the Zerg in this starting area. There's not really a whole lot to elevate your position with. And so I wonder if maybe that could be something that I could improve upon. I could... Because this area isn't really like... It's not a requirement for me to keep all of this area open in terms of build space. What I could do is this. Just move it over a little bit. Okay. The things I do for visuals in this game. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to expand the structure on either side. So we'll have this sort of square. And then obviously this will be like this. What's up, Lucy? Monsieur Lucy. Ah, shit. That is going to be annoying. So I got this wireless mouse that I have to return. I've already ordered a wired one. I don't think the issue is with it being wireless. It's the MX Master, and it's a Logitech mouse. I got it on a pretty good deal. It's normally like $100, and I got it for like $40 off. Now, the main issue that I've found with it so far is actually something that's widely reported in people's complaints online about this this mouse, and it's that so it has this like infinite scrolling feature, so that I can basically do something like this. Well, I'd have to have a really long web page. I don't know what that would look like. Maybe the all entries here. Yeah. So I'll give this a second to load, and then. So basically, like hands off, and it's like scrolling because it's basically infinite. Now the problem is this is supposed to stop itself when not in this mode. So there's supposed to be a mode where it works, and a mode where it doesn't work, where it works like a normal scroll with normal tactile resistance. That part doesn't do it though. It randomly starts infinitely scrolling, and otherwise it's a piece of shit. So it's pretty frustrating because obviously, even though I got it on a deal, it wasn't exactly cheap. So I of course did decide to get it returned, and I'll try. I could reorder it to see if I'm lucky. The problem is that people who said that they didn't have this issue initially eventually had this issue. So it's not even like something you can necessarily plan ahead of for or something. It's just something that I don't want to have to like replace it eventually anyway, sort of deal. And so here I am, complaining about it to you people. I think that's this mouse that I have here. That's a wired one. It is significantly less floaty, unfortunately. I finally got this is another really stupid thing. I ordered a mouse pad from SteelSeries, and they sent me a box full of 5 mouse pads, even though I did not request that many mouse pads. So I thought that was pretty funny. I think I'm so used to using this other wireless one that I'm going to have to increase my... Well, I'm not used to using this mouse on a mouse pad now, so now I've got to go pointer. Isn't there like something to change my DPI or something? I don't even know if this is the right... I can sign them and sell them to the No Frauds Club? Yeah, that is true, I guess. I don't know if SteelSeries would like me reselling stuff they sent me by mistake, but I guess they did make the mistake, so they can suck my dick. I wasn't necessarily looking for the infinite. I actually have infinite scroll on the other mouse, but the switch for it actually works, you see. LG Hub changes DPI. I don't think it works for my mouse, for my wired mouse. Maybe it does. Yeah, I will say as much. When I told Vu about this, the co-host of Elo Heaven, I don't think I have my... It doesn't actually show my my gear. Yeah, I don't think I can add my mouse, even though it is a Logitech. I don't know what... I think it is the same one that you were just talking about. Let me make sure that it's even the right mouse. What was it? Oh, G502 is not the mouse I thought it was. And then Beaver suggested G602 or 603. Yeah, I don't mind the infinity scroll. I think it's an okay feature, but it's like the thing is, it's not like I actually use it very frequently, right? Or at all, to be honest. I keep forgetting it. Yeah, that's pretty great. I actually don't mind the wireless mice, to be honest. I ordered let me tell you what I ordered as a replacement. I actually ordered a G403, which should be arriving tomorrow, which is a wired mouse. This was also on a bit of a deal. I have to make sure that I turn off fucking uh, RGB and stupid shit. All around good mouse with no infinity scroll, G602. So I can look that up real quick. What do we got for G602? See what this is interesting. So this MX Master thing is like really weird visually. Like it has this like this bit out here, which is nice for your hand. It's like ergo, I guess, whatever that bullshit jargon is. It's just that this button doesn't work. This button is supposed to catch the scroll wheel, but as it obviously doesn't. So if that's the only issue I have. I don't really like charging wireless mice. I find that to be kind of annoying. But on the plus side, the battery. I left my computer on for like 3 or 4 days in a row, which I don't normally do. And the mouse obviously has some sort of like downtime sensor to just stop working after a certain amount of time, because it was still on like all 3 bars when I plugged it in this morning. So I was like, all right, whatever. Guess I don't even need to charge it then. Anyway, mice talk aside. Yeah, makes sense. I was thinking too recently that I mentioned earlier I should be grabbing a Stream Deck. It's mostly just because I want a quick mute button for OBS without it taking up a button, and I guess for Discord as well, without it taking up a button on my keyboard, because I use almost everything on my keyboard. So being able to handle like mic inputs or scene changes or whatever with an external push of a button, it seems pretty important. I don't really like that it's $150 to get a fucking Stream Deck. It seems pretty overpriced, but maybe I'll find something else. I don't know. In a way, it doesn't really matter because it's not like I just don't have nearly as many money problems as I used to. So, or I guess concerns. Mm. Okay. Well, you know what? At the same time, I don't really like how slow this is on an actual pad. So. Fuck it, boys. Just use the master for now. I will say it is generally a lot smoother than the other one, but it also feels really bad that I can't scroll with this piece of shit. Okay. I don't really know if this adds a whole lot, But at least there's something to do over here if you're going to be laying into this guy's base from the southeastern entrance. I guess we should probably slap out some terrain for the Calendric Knights to land on. The question is... Yeah, there's not really that much else to do everywhere. Like, I could add some more unbuildable terrain or something if I thought so. If I thought it was required. Or some more terrain variety, but that can be dealt with at a later date. So obviously we want these holes in the tiles, particularly this one where the red start location is. Those need to be converted into higher ground areas. We also have to consider the pathway into the rest of the map for these guys and where we want our expansions placed. Now I think these two, so this base right here for this middle Protoss, the Starbound, as it's no longer a Sumerian Protoss, because I renamed that. Part of the Golden Republic. The idea that I have is we would essentially have this red guy start on the highest possible ground, but I would probably shift it up a couple of tiles and then leave some room for an expansion along this ridge here. And change some of the shape and texture so that we get a little bit of a different look. So this would be something like essentially pulling this out a little bit. Yeah. Should be fine. So now we've got some room for some bases or some resources. We'll obviously, like I said earlier, we'll probably push this up a little bit. Oops. And then I think we'll have like a base. It's kind of obvious that there would be a base along this ridge once we get this high ground over. And then maybe like we can be a little bit cleverer with some of the terrain spacing to allow for some nice like flank ramp up. Maybe it's something like this. And then there would be like a ramp over here that leads you out into the base area, but can also be used to gain access. So, there's some multi-layers going on. And then I guess this guy is the next question is, what do we do about the placement of this player? Because he is kind of smack in the middle of a bunch of shit. He's got pretty good spacing to contest this base and to take this as maybe a third or maybe a natural. It really highly depends on where I decide to put his main. Because I guess at that point we would have two bases on this area, this top right-hand corner only, for each player. So it would be 4 bases total. And I think that's probably okay because then we're encouraging them to push outward a little bit more anyway. Whereas I think that might even be somewhat consistent with some of the other stuff, right? Like I guess maybe the Golden Republic, they've got a really nice starting location. By comparison, at least in terms of resource counts, this guy's got a really shit starting position in terms of defensibility, which is fine. I don't know. It could work out fine, though. I don't really see a massive potential issue. Hello, darkened man to seize. I hope you are doing well today. Okay. Yeah, I think this is looking solid. Yeah, solid except for where I'm going to put this guy. That I still do not know. I could put him against the ridge as well, but it feels a bit odd. Even so. Maybe we... Oh yeah, I kind of like this idea. We can expand the general area of what we've got over here. And... Hmm... Hmm. The whole map was supposed to be completed when I opened my eyes. Didn't quite work out. I kind of like the idea of making a tiny little choke point over here, to be honest, with the different terrain. All right. Also known as rampcrastination. Though I'd probably be doing the same thing, to be honest. I have to remember which player is which here. So 4 is the Templar fleet. Okay. So these guys, expansion here, man. Okay. Should be fine, I think. I guess the question is, do I like, I think maybe I could in theory expand this out some more and then have some room for... Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, there's a little bit of a perspective thing going on, I guess. It is a really large graphic, so... TBH. And it would be pretty difficult to, like, fix that with moving the lighting or whatever. Yeah, apparently I have to fix up my... my extension tiles for this sort of thing. And this thing too. I wonder how this even happened, to be honest. Oh, I think I know why. It's because I actually masked out this stuff differently to make it look like significantly distinct, but then I didn't get the extension tiles in the same way. I never edited DF's extension tiles to match the new aesthetic. It should be possible if I just copy and paste the shading, like mask or whatever. I'll look into that a little bit later. Now it's just the slow process of assembling all of these. Mm. Mm. I don't really like how restrictive this shit is, where I only have 3 north tiles, but I guess if there was ever going to be a case where I try to make my own north-facing cliff tiles through like Photoshop kit bashing or something, probably wouldn't be a bad idea to try to make something for Ashworld, considering the complete lack of opportunity to do anything. Mm. Okay. Did that side. Now we go down here. Mm. I stumbled upon something pretty recently that I was surprised to see do so well, which is reaction channels. Like, I'm not talking about like, here's what I think about this news. It's literally just people like listening to music or watching a music video, and then going like they like bob to the music or whatever. Be like, yeah, this is cool. Yeah, I like this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then at the end they go, wow, it's really cool. Like, really? That's your thing? If you say so, boss. So yeah, I guess I don't fully understand the whole magic of that one. Not that it's particularly likely that I ever will, but whatever. Excuse me for the yawn. Pardon moi. Pardon moi. It's over. Wait, where is this supposed to go? Did I somehow fuck up the alignment? I don't think so. I don't know. Who knows? Does anybody ever really know anything these days? It's like, it should be this. There you go. The mucked about blend, but it'll work for now. Till I make the final tiles. Okay. Now I think I just need to fill this up and we'll be good to go. Don't think I missed any different tile types. Or spaces or whatever. Trying to see if there's anything else. Yeah, that one. Okay. I still really do wish we had some sort of mass fill option. Dude, I had a dream earlier today that I woke up and I was working on a map and SCM draft had been updated and fixed a bunch of issues. And so I was like, oh shit, I got to message SI and say thanks because I didn't even know. It's like it had like automatically updated in my dream. Unfortunately, we all wake up eventually. And it was just not to be. I should message him that. I should message him hold on. Where is he? I have no idea where he is. Oh, found him. That's pretty funny. Hopefully he finds the humor in that. I know he's I believe he is German. They are sometimes humorless. Though I've had pretty positive experiences. That might just be an unfair stereotype. We'll find out. We'll find out together, boys. Now let's... Oh, that shouldn't have been there. Or should it have been? Yeah. Oh, wait, I know what I have to do here. Here we go. Got you now, homie. Oh, can't do that one. Let's try this one. Maybe at the right spot. That'd be nice. There it is. We've done it now. Ooh. That's why things are off. Move that down. I had that out of alignment. Like a goofball. Yeah, make my dream come true. That's it. Hold on, I'll edit that message in. You make my dream come true. And then there's some emoji in here that I could use to make this even more awkward. I'll say heart. I'll do heartbeat. See what he says to that. Oh shit, I got another DM. Oh fuck. Who's this guy? Unfortunately, my one notification was not SI pushing send or commit or pull or whatever he would need to do to get his latest work done. I guess he wouldn't be using repos. Yeah, there it is. Maybe that's what I do. That might be the solution. Maybe if I make him uncomfortable enough, he'll be like, "Holy shit, this man's lost his fucking mind. I have to update it now." I simply have no choice. I will make suicidal insanity uncomfortable for the good of all Brood War map crap kind. I promise to do this. I will take up this cup. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have a proposal for you. Would you like to hear it? Wink. And he just starts reacting fear to every message. All right, let me fill in some of this shit. There we go. Starting to look pretty okay. Oh no, we would want. All right, hold on. There we go. Extend this by one more than we initially planned to, just for the sake of leaving a little bit more room to maneuver. Oh, in fact, maybe I could go even one further. I think that might even be significantly better for this situation. And then we'll just... I'm guessing I need to change this to that. And then I can do this, which will give me that. And then this. Okay. Think that's what we needed. It's a little bright in here. It's kind of hard for me to see for some reason. Getting some kind of glare, homies. This is pushed up a little bit, though, isn't it? Maybe I just... Bring this back down then. Oops. Sure does take some time, bros. My fellow frauds. I just imagine a scene where some fucking commander gets really angry and he just goes, frog emojis, the lot of you. You're all frogs. And just starts like babbling on about how he hates frogs. He knew that everybody else was frogs the whole time. Okay. We've got the layout sorted. I still want to add a little bit of like more terrain variety to this, of course, but I think this is a pretty solid initial position. Yeah, I guess it really just depends on how things shape up. All right. I am going to take a quick break. Also, why do I have 2 G hubs? Get out of here, dude. I am going to take a quick break, and when I come back, I will be jumping into some actual resource placement. We'll get the players sorted, get their expansions taken care of. I guess we'll do the triggers after that, and then we'll take another once over through the whole level and see if there's anything else that we want to do on the map side before we get into potentially testing or what have you. So, yeah, I shall return very soon, BRB. It will be nice, by the way, now that I'm back, I can talk about this. It will be pretty nice to be able to just, when I get a Stream Deck, just be able to go, yeah, I'll take this button and that will mute and activate the BRB screen. Or maybe I'll just tie it to one button. We'll get crazy. All right. Just order this at the same time as my mixer. And see where they decide, what they decide to do with that. All right. So we decided we're going to place good old player 4's stuff over here. So I'm thinking, definitely want the geyser front and center. And then we probably want something like that. And then we'll do maybe this. One of my mortal nemeses dealing with resources. Since we only have 3 variants, it's quite difficult to randomize them in satisfactory manners. Or not randomize them, but vary them up, I should say, in satisfactory ways. So what do we got here? We have 10. Okay. I guess the main issue with this is obviously that, like, I was theoretically going to throw a base over here, too. So... I guess maybe if I do that, then it's actually okay to throw something like this in. So this one's obviously a bit odd, but whatever. Okay. Yes, that was the thing. So this actually wasn't meant to be a ramp. I forgot about that. So this is where I kind of messed up. I'll have to correct the record here. This was meant to be where you can just... basically, you can just use this area as an expansion rather than it being like a pathway or something. I'll probably add a little bit of a flare to that later. But for now, here you go. Okay. I still can't believe I just sent those messages to Suicidal Insanity. If he wasn't already. I do kind of like that there's like all of these resources growing out of this rock facing thing over here. Kind of interesting. Just saying. Okay. Would be really nice to be able to manually handle some of this shit, but you know, pretty much not allowed to ever do that. So, all right. Oh fuck. Uh, 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 It's just this geyser? Dude, the geyser gets attached, but not the... What the fuck is this madness? Yeah, give me that geyser, but don't give me the minerals right next to it. What is this? Seriously. Seriously, what the fuck? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I delete that geyser, no problem. But no, those fucking mineral fields, man. We don't want those around here. We want the geyser. What if I do this? Even another start location doesn't fix it. Dude. Wow. That is some fucking lard code. That is some lard. What if I... Okay. Apparently, we can fix it like this. Oh. Well, your guys' guess is as good as mine, my friends. I have no idea what possibly could have convinced it to play by the rules. No clue. I guess I should that is pretty precarious right there, man. I don't know how I feel about that one. Anyway, unreasonable behavior aside. Jesus. Oh, I know I need dirt. Ah. 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 Now you want the mineral field, you piece of shit? Why? 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 Blizzard didn't even do any work. Okay, but now you want the geyser. But if I delete these, you're fine. So by adding more obstacles, I am somehow screwing this up. It's the Pathfinder regions, but I don't understand why the thing was written this way. What a disaster. What a mess. Because you know I'm just going to like add some doodads or whatever, like over here. Yeah. Oh, you saw it there. Ah, suddenly I want them. So I'm just going to have to like keep an eye out on that, I guess. What a mess. See? Why? I don't understand. There we go. I can only hope that's sufficient blockage. Ladissimo. Mwah. What a fucking mess. Oh, DF, did you see the guy who joined? Maybe it was more than one guy who did it. There were some people who had joined the server recently, and one of them was like, "Who are you? Are you Prodogo?" I thought that was funny. Because I realized that if you've not used Discord much, you don't think to like click on the name. Or if you don't use Ripcord, for example, you don't like see the name as an option. So it was kind of funny to me. I kind of want to just for the sake of visual variety, I kind of feel like going through and adding some Basilica stuff. Oh, we got the inclement weather coming up. May hear some lightning. Or I guess hear some thunder, whatever. You know what I mean. Fucking motherfucker. I do think crushed rock looks pretty natural on Ash World, which is kind of cool. Actually, on a somewhat related note to the people who are joining, it does seem like we are getting an influx of new people every now and then. Kind of neat. Oh, I have just realized that this is all the wrong height level. I've got to make another one. What's up, Hoopy? Yeah, this was added a while back. DF did the ramp extension tiles. Incoming thunder. I think. Huh, guess not. Fucking baby. Oh, never mind. It's just a slow hitter. That's all. I need these and these. Okay. Now I can go back to going for these. DF and I were talking about our plans for the new tile set, and one of the things that we had discussed briefly was whether or not it would make sense to try to make the lighting consistent with some other stuff. And personally, I'm kind of torn on it, but at the same time, it does seem like something that is a bit of a fool's errand, no? Considering how fucked the lighting normally is anyway. Oh wait, this is not the right one. Here we go. I should probably actually find the right tile for that, but I don't think I have one lying around anywhere. Where did I put the actual... Oh, here we go. Here we go, boys. Try each one of these until something works. Oh, there it is. Found it. Perfect. Easy enough. It will, of course, not be buildable, unfortunately, but... Or it will be buildable when it shouldn't be, is what I meant to say. Well, we can fix that later. You, actually. Buddy boy. You may have, and I may not have added it. I don't really know. Nothing too much, my handsome man. I am currently adding some shit to this fucking brush palette. That's what I'm doing. Ash World. Almost saved it over Twilight. Would have been a bad idea. Okay. We need to now make the actual cliffs. That should be a bit easier, though, because I don't have to do nearly as much stupid manual bullshit. Okay, and this will just be a cliff instead of cliff doodad, and we'll call this W North. What about you? How's your project shit going? How's your surviving in Texas shit going? Good luck with that one. That might be harder than actually making a StarCraft campaign inside StarCraft 2. Or Melee Mod or whatever you want to call it. You guys are out of the really bad times with the power companies doing rolling blackouts or whatever to make sure that everyone has equal time. I haven't heard about it in the news, but that doesn't mean it's not still going on. So, figured I would ask. Let's go to our reporter on the ground. Now, crushed rock. I guess I should go look at my other crushed rock stuff. Where is it? Here we go. We got, yeah, edge, dirt 2. Yeah, I imagine you guys are mostly used to it being warm. Perhaps overly so. Yeah. It's still misery you've experienced before. Misery you've got a memory of. I still can't believe that Lard didn't actually mirror the flagstone tiles, so there were only 2 options for, like, in the vanilla tile set, there's only 2 options for flagstones. And they're 2 unique options depending on the side, which is really crazy. The whole thing is so bizarre. So I was able to fix that with my flagstone stuff. But it's only fixed in Ash World. I don't think I'd be able to fix it very easily in the actual tile set. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. I guess speaking of, I could do flagstones while I'm at this. Yeah, so you can tick this box in a CM drift called AI town locations, and it essentially shows you it's mislabeled because for some reason SI doesn't want to name it the same thing that it's called everywhere else. It's basically referring to resource areas, usually abbreviated as res area. So this res area 6 is every start location creates a res area, even if there are no resources attached, but the yellow lines signify that the resources are attached to it. So when I was having a lot of difficulty over here, where there was a bunch of insane shit happening with the Vespine geysers being attached to this town 4, the way that I was able to fix that was eventually changing the Pathfinder regions by adding more terrain displacements and stuff. But the way that I was able to know that that was happening in the first place is because the yellow line was attaching it from this start location to this area right here. For everything that isn't a start location, which is like over here, you'll see that the res area isn't attached to a building. It's not something I can manually pin to a certain area, which is kind of frustrating because the AI will attempt to build where this box is that says town 26 and the coordinates. They'll try to build as close to the coordinates as possible, except not really, because they're really bad at it. So maybe some other stuff will cause issues there as well. Like instead of building right here, they might build like off and to the right by 1 pixel or something stupid, because maybe they're worried about like proximity to some other terrain. So you can override that stuff, but it does require manual work, and it means that your AI is no longer general and becomes map specific in some way. It's pretty frustrating. If you've ever seen Big Game Hunters, by the way, I'll quickly do a tangent on that. Big Game Hunters is obviously a very well-known map, unfortunately. I don't suppose it's in like my V ladder, or I don't even remember what it was. Old ladder? No. Melee? No. Allied? No. I don't know where it would be. Oh, it's just in here. I think in the root folder somewhere. No. Yeah. So I guess this would be the original one. Yeah. So if you've ever seen AI play Big Game Hunters, you may have noticed they don't really expand to the central base very well, do they? It might have something to do with the fact that there are 4 geysers assigned to the base, which makes the res area center over here, which means that they build over here. Blizzard doesn't know how to test their own content, though, so you'll never see anybody fix that. This map is unfixable anyway. It should just be shot. But now you know a little bit. A little bit of trivia. Wait, didn't I just do this? Where's my shit? Did it actually add it in the correct position? Oh, it looks like I already did. Cool. I must have needed it for something. Yeah, I did it for all that shit. That's pretty cool. Okay. That, something I can deal with later. So now that I have all this, I can go to this. Now, again, it doesn't really make logical sense that the Protoss would have some sort of installation type thing drop down here, but whatever. I think if you imagine it's like some sort of tactical platform thing that they actually deployed, maybe it makes a bit more sense. Like same reason why they might have asphalt for Terran or something. People don't usually bat too much of an eye on that stuff. It just beggars my belief personally. Oh, I had the wrong idea there. All right. Yeah, I think once we're done with this little section here, we should be able to get some more work done on the actual concept of the mission. I'm trying to make it feel a bit more natural, but obviously it takes so much more work than it quote unquote should or would in a world where we had access to this tool's source code and we could just fix everything ourselves. Such is life until we get our new engine up and running. There has been a little bit of progress on that recently, but it has slowed a bit. I think Veek is back to being busy with studies or something. Mm. Okay. It's not really that much work, to be honest. Just takes a little bit of hunting for the right tile. I have a bit of a write-up on this in the modding starter guide if you wanted to take a look. Um, the bulk of the gameplay, intrinsic gameplay changes you would want to make, like adding a new behavior to a unit or something to that effect, are no longer possible due to the fact that you've outmoded plugin support for the most part. You essentially have to go through a third party developer or learn a really stupid programming language that nobody in their right mind should ever have to learn in order to make heads or tails of anything. And even if you do go down the route of learning, it's not really going to be massively beneficial because the code base has zero documentation. It's a brand new, it's for all intents and purposes, it might as well be a new engine environment that you're trying to reverse engineer. Even though some of the addresses will still be similar and some of the functionality will still be similar, having to actually hunt down stuff is very arduous. So if you even wanted to do some sort of large scale change to functionality, add some new feature, like any of the stuff that we've positioned ourselves with on in the new Hydra units and stuff, you would essentially have to undergo a mammoth task. The biggest issue, though, is that mods will still just occasionally break because of patches. And then the fix is waiting for Nave to update his mod creating tool, and then you yourself downloading that update, remaking your mod file, and then re uploading the mod file, and every player who wants to play downloading that updated mod file. So it's a very crazy daisy chain of stupidity that you have to do to make a mod work in the remastered patch. Some people will say, why even mod? To that, I direct you to this section above instead. But that's kind of the quick rundown, is that you can't even do a lot of the things that you would want to do in a mod. You also have to continuously update your stuff, even if you're done. Like, say you're finished your project, right? That's what happened with the remastered version of Rebel Yell, is when I did that in remastered initially, I was like, okay, well, I'm done with this project now. I want to move on to something else. But I can't actually stop updating this project because patches will break it. So instead, I will uninstall remastered and I will backport it to 161 so that it's stable forever. And then I can leave it and uh, people can play it at their leisure. They feel like going through the very small amount of effort it takes to install the older version of the game. There's also a bunch of other undesirable aspects to remastered, particularly the fact that you have to bloat your hard drive even if you never intend to use the ugly skin pack. And then there's a bunch of other junk there too, like always online. I forget what else I was going to bring up in this context. Just the lack of performance compared to 161. Like, I can't believe I have to say that about Brood War, but the fact that the system, the minimum requirements even to run it on the old version, by the way, are pretty high. Like the old graphics, rather. It's not a graphically demanding game. It's more that they've added a ton of chromium and a bunch of other lazy shit on top of it. I think they did come out and just straight up admit, and nobody even called them out on this. I don't think, besides obviously me and people who I'm affiliated with. They just admitted to using Chromium for the menus and stuff, which is pretty despicable. So yeah. So even when you're not using the skin pack, your performance still is massively degraded compared to what it really should be. It's pretty, as I said, despicable. Not at all what you wanted to see. I do have a bit of a reputation in the community for being a hard ass, and also for some people just think that my standards are unrealistically high, but um, I don't think it's an unrealistically high standard to have a functioning product that doesn't destroy support for everything. So I haven't been able to agree with those people's opinions. I'll put it to you that way. Though that was some time ago that I had cultivated that. I actually don't know. I don't think many people even that are not in my own community um, really even talk that much of me. So thankfully, I think I've outlasted any goofiness that could come from that. 'Cause there was a time where there's some really stupid shit happening. All right, I think after a little bit of labor, we do indeed have our scene here. There we go. Just had to change that up a little bit. Couldn't bring myself to make somebody expand there, even an AI, without it being moderately improved. Eh. Okay. An appropriate response from Misk. Brood Wars UI, actually, if you know what I'm saying. I'm not 100% sure if I like the little split over here, because obviously it makes it a lot harder to attack or to leverage this position against this base, which then reduces the value of this flanking area entirely. So I wonder if maybe we don't want to. I kind of like the fact that you can do this, where you can like move up there, right? But maybe we actually expand this up to offer a another ramp in or something, because then you can choose to. I don't want to make it so easy, but I also just don't want to make it as hard as it is right now. And I think adding a dedicated ramp to that would make it a little bit too much the other way, so to speak. I wonder if maybe we don't just move this over here, then we move this ramp. That obviously I still need to fix the coloring on. Move that way. I feel like that could do the trick. Here we go. Didn't want to go hunting for that one. And then I guess we can just grab this guy. Yeah, that way it's slightly closer to that exit point. It'll make it considerably more approachable. Pull this out a little bit here too. Give us a little something. So yeah, now the only issue is figuring out what to do with this guy's base. Like, where am I going to put his resources? He doesn't have a massive amount of build space currently, and I would really like to keep his build space more or less taken care of, so... Mm. I just went through and added a bunch of main tiles to some stuff. Oh yeah, that was another one that I wanted to do. Okay. I'm not really sure what else to tackle with that. I guess what I want is I definitely need some basilica on the higher terrain type. I don't have crushed rock on tier 3, so I can grab that real quick. And that'll be a nice way to divvy up some of the stuff too. Some of the it'll be a good way, I think, to have that area feel very distinct from everywhere else. Or maybe you have some asphalt, maybe you have some lava, but nowhere else do you have like crushed rock flagstones, that sort of thing. I might make crushed rock just like a mud type tile almost, like something where you see it all over the place, but in sparing areas. Because it looks appropriate. It looks natural on this tile set, I think. It doesn't necessarily like scream organic matter to me, necessarily. So we'll get this added. We'll probably do basilica next, I think, for this tier, and then we'll actually muck about with that guy's starting location. For anybody who doesn't know what I'm doing right now, I have this brush palette here, and I've been studiously adding these things to the contents of this brush palette so that we can more easily deploy them when we're hand painting environments like what I was just doing. So I had to do this earlier to prepare for the crushed rock on the middle level. Normally you can just paint this shit isometrically, which is what you saw me doing in a few other places. No luck. No such luck doing that with custom tiles that have been added in through modding. Now that is something we would be able to, in theory, explore, but we don't have the source code for SCM Draft, so we rely on SI to eventually give us some sort of deliverable there. Oops, that's... We can't even rename files or entries in here, unfortunately. Oh shit! I haven't seen Wanna Become Famous in a while. It should... I am kind of surprised Twitch even allows messages with that sort of thing in the... If it has a link and it has Wanna Become Famous in it, you should probably just ban the message, surely. It's such like a brazenly stupid premise for like a scam or advertisement or whatever they're trying to do. At least for my money. It's so obvious. It's like wanna become famous. Wow. Like playing at such a base level, you know what I mean? Like, come on now. Surely you can't be that silly. Alright, so now we'll do Basilica, Crushed Rock 3. Oh, wait, no, this would be Cliff. Crushed Rock 3. Exactly. I did just 3, yes. You specifically, of course, not the entire stream. I felt like kind of funny. The 3 thing really has gotten out of control because I felt kind of, I don't know if guilty is the right term, but just like it was like, oh man, that's 3. Like, you know, fuck. I guess it is 3. When I was writing out some campaign plans and I had realized that one of the missions was set to take place on the 3rd satellite. The 3rd closest satellite to a planet. So it was called like Auspice 3 or something. I think it was Auspice. Might have been Alabaster. It's one of the Protoss missions is set there. I was like, ah, shit. But I wanted to do something crazy like Alabaster 11, but I think that would be a bit odd to have that many satellites on one planet. Could happen though. Could be real. 3 posting. Oh, he's firing up his calculator, guys. To get ready to 3 us. I can't even imagine what 3 posting even means. Oh, I just started randomly typing the wrong thing there. That's pretty good. W outer. It doesn't help that W and E are right next to each other, so I use W for west, E for east, but then I can just get pranked by the wrong thing sometimes. Another thing that kind of tilts me is that these tiles are organized in a mirrored fashion by default, which means that the tile sorter is going to organize them that way, and then it's like that's an annoying amount of effort to fix them after that. First world problems, bro. All right. Done for that. Now we get to do the doodads. It's time to do some dads. I still can't believe Blizzard didn't ship north-facing ramps into the game. It's pretty intense. An impressive amount of dumb. Oh, keep those. I gotta do these. Oops. Oh, I know which one this is. This is... Oh. There we go. All right. Now we're really cooking with some gas. What a disaster. I always appreciate taking some time out of my mod streams to troll my co-host on Twitter. Okay, let's actually slap some stuff onto this area so I can say that I did my job today. And then we will be very excited. Wait, what is this? This is apparently the wrong thing. Here's my asphalt. Oh, asphalt. 1 dirt. Changed my fucking syntax, like. My fucking syntax, though. Alright, now we'll save this. Beautiful. Basilica, cliff, crushed rock. I guess I really should reload it now so that it loads in the correct order. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. So now we get to actually add some stuff. We get to do, say, I don't think we need anything massive, to be honest. There is a ramp over here which we have to be cognizant of, so I would say something like maybe like this. I don't really want to add a ramp to it, so I don't know about that one. But we can then do yeah, let's do I do also have ones that blend directly with dirt, but don't think I need those right this second. Okay. We got that done. before I bother placing any actual additional tiles, we can go ahead and slap together the minerals themselves. This guy is obviously going to be more materialistic, I guess. More mineralistic, shall we say. He's not going to rely on gas nearly as much. I kind of want to reflect that because they would generally try to select intelligent starting locations for themselves, like that reflect what they need or what they prefer. So I kind of want to move these down here. I don't think I ever did shale on high ground, which is interesting. I guess what I can do is I can have this whole area surrounded by high ground, and then I can use flagstones to signify the intended start location placement. No! Wait. Oh, I could just do this. False alarm. Oh, I forgot to actually finish this one. That's pretty funny. There we go. Never hurts to double check your height levels in general. Okay, now for the crushed rock affair. I think I have 5 per side, yeah. Yeah, I can't remember actually, DF. You're right. That's a fucking blessing to count. I will say I have thought about that somewhat recently because occasionally I do talk with people who don't have a lot going on and they're just like I'm like, what's going on? How you doing? What was your day like? And they have nothing. They have nothing to say. They can't speak. They have no voice. Because they've got nothing to do. They don't do anything. Wake them up. I mean, I'm as liable to procrastinate as anybody else, right? But I've got something I am procrastinating, and it feels like somehow a lot of people don't have that. So yeah, does appear to be the case. I'm regardless of the state of anybody else, I am very pleased to be able to say that I don't have that as a drawback or anything. Always got something to do. I have to remind myself to occasionally not to do anything and like watch a movie or something. Which probably isn't necessarily the best, like there's a middle ground to strike, I'm sure, but I think that might be the secret. Yeah, yeah. That might be the secret to eventually getting everything done as well, right, DF? Like, oh, I'll do this thing instead. Because I've been doing that for a little bit now while I wait for, Veek to be available to work on the engine or something. I've been trying to think about what my dad caught topic is going to be since I'm going to record one later today after this stream. And I think a pretty good chance that I just talk about the stuff that I was blabbering on about at the beginning of this stream, where I talk about event focused or event influenced plots versus character influenced plots. The problem is that that's probably more like something that should be formalized and written down. I just don't know that I necessarily want to do that today. Have I skipped a tile somewhere? Workahol. Yeah, dude. I'm not really sure how I wound up being off center. It's kind of hard because there's not much contrast between these tiles. So... Alright, we're off there. Or are we off here? Alright, looks like somehow this is what's off. Now that I've done all that. You had to squint as high or as hard as Humph face to figure that one out. As hard as welcome. The fuck? Okay. So the problem is I'm pretty sure that this will always look off. So what I will do instead is shift it over there. You suggesting a new crossover. of sorts. I'll even throw in an extra mineral field for the guy's trouble. Here you go. Okay. That's pretty neat. That's pretty good. I'll take that. We've done our due diligence so far. Hand painted some environments. Slapped down 5 new bases. Where I thought for sure there was only going to be room for 4, but I think this works out okay. We'll add some more details to that north strip a little bit. Very minor amount of tile blocking and stuff. In fact, I'll probably do something similar over here where I might find myself my Cliff Dirt 3. Listen up, kid. You're getting 3'd. Just give him that. Is that in the right spot is the question. Yeah, I think it's probably better to be slightly out of the way so you can straight line it if you want to, but this is mostly to create a little bit more dynamic gameplay, I guess, around abusing this terrain for its height advantage against these bases. So I think we can just go ahead and... Do I have a Dirt Cliff 3? Oh yeah, well, of course I do. I was just grabbing from it. So just a little hint of something there, and a tiny bit, the tiniest bit of negative space. I think we'll add a decent amount, and then obviously we can add like crushed rock and other detail tiles over there. Dog. Dog. Negative space around negative suns. Have you beheld the birth of negative suns and witnessed the entropy of entire realities? What a shitty fucking monologue, to be honest. The fact that Zeratul just starts talking about like stuff on at a scale higher than any Blizzard game would ever even hope to achieve, talking about the cosmic scale of entropy of entire realities. Like, wow. Nice. That doesn't sound like mumbo jumbo that you don't even understand, you fucking cretin. You cretin writer. It's also just like straight up telling you that this guy's got experience, and you should like this. You might as well, for all the good that did you, you might as well just have had some other random character say Zeratul is experienced. Instead, he told you, which is like cringe. Not that the alternative I just proposed wouldn't also be cringe, but you know. Didn't you guys go to dialogue school? Ethos. Yeah. He's got a record. He's got an observer that he's holding in his hand. He's like just waving it around like unto my experience. Whatever he says. All you have built here is but a fleeting dream. A dream from which the riders will soon awaken and sniff more cocaine while supposedly making content. The fact that they actually just openly encouraged boozing on the job at Blizzard really does explain quite a bit, doesn't it? I don't know about this whole Mets and Prozac thing. I think that's probably just Mesk's fucking fan fiction, but the boozing stuff is like just straight up from an interview. You can't even argue against that. It's just factual. A mess. I think the solution here is just to do this. There you go. Yeah, I like that. That's the Toy Story edition. An entire campaign where the only thing you have is this observer that you can gyrate for a mission. Your next mission is randomly selected. That could be possible too. We have bank data in Brood War now. We've had it for a while. It's legit. Set next scenario, by the way. All right. I feel like we did pretty well here. Obviously, next on the chopping block are fixing up the ramps to the extension tiles and stuff for the south-facing ramps on different height levels. And besides that, I don't know if there's anything particularly pressing we absolutely have to look into. I think for the most part, yeah. I mean, besides the visual issues with some of the tiles, I think we can just start testing pretty soon. So I won't do the triggers on this stream. I'll do them another time, but I suppose the next time we're working on this map, we'll actually be able to test it out and observe some AI games. We still have some stability issues that we have to resolve, but once those are taken care of, I can start doing castovers more frequently and stuff. Yes, of course. The classic. All right, I think that will do it for our stream today. How long was I even on for? Oh, it was almost 3 hours. Almost a 3. Not quite this time. Almost, though. All right, boys and girls, I shall return. I think tomorrow I'm just going to do the Elo Heaven episode and not stream any StarCraft stuff, but I will be back the subsequent 2 days, Friday and Saturday, with some StarCraft development, content development, as you saw today. And they'll probably be towards noon Eastern time. And then after that, well, the schedule's in the manifest, so if you're in the Discord server, you can check that out. And aside from that, bye. Wave emoji, frog emoji.